Welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You with Tammy Nicole, the podcast dedicated to you loving and putting yourself first. Others have come first in your life for years, and you know it's time for that to change. You're about to be empowered to set healthy boundaries, confidently have hard conversations, unapologetically put yourself first, and live the peaceful life you deserve. Remember, self-love is essential, and loving yourself sets the stage for every other love in your life. So get ready to embrace self-love like never before with your host, Coach Tammy Nicole.
Hey. Welcome back to Loving Me Before I Love You. We are so excited. It is Tuesday and it's Transformation Tuesday over here at Loving Me. So I am here to talk. It's November. We're in November, you guys. And I'm here to talk about gratitude. I cannot believe that we are this far along in the year, but gratitude is everything, right? A lot of times we don't give it as much emphasis as we should. But in today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about how gratitude changes our mindset. Our episode today is called Gratitude as a Superpower, How Thankfulness Transforms Our Mindset. And I have a guest with me today. I have Mr. Reginald Gantz with me today, and he is going to enlighten us on gratitude and thankfulness and how that shifts our minds and how we can be a little bit more grateful, a little bit more thankful, because sometimes we misconstrue both of those things. We think if I'm being grateful, I'm not thankful. And sometimes we flip-flop it the other way around, though I think they're one and the same. Reginald, welcome to the show.
Coach Tammy Nicole, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I don't think we talk about thankfulness enough, but can you just tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, in line with the theme, I'm thankful for being here. I really do appreciate you and your podcast. But a quick, Dun and Bradstreet on myself. My name is Reginald Gant. I reside here in the Baltimore, Maryland area with my wife. We have 5 beautiful children right now. We currently have 4 boys at home. And I am an author, a motivational speaker, a trainer, you name it. I've done it. I mentor, I coach. But by day, I'm a human resources professional. But my heart, Tammy, if you had to ask me, was centered around men and fathers and husbands and making sure that men step up into their leadership roles so that they can be the protectors and providers, that God has called them to be.
Awesome. And definitely we need that, right? Like, I think a lot of times when we start thinking about men and their roles and their responsibilities, we don't really see them have a lot of mentorship and guidance to be the best. I think these days, the picture perfect or the visual of men has changed so drastically. And it definitely requires a lot of, like, I would say, partnership and, camaraderie to kind of make it to be like what the world has, used to say the stamp of manhood really is all about. Now, for me, when I think about men and where they are today, I think they lack a lot of gratitude. I'm not going. I'm not even going front. I really do think that you see, if we were even to do a gender thing, like you see more women having that posture, because I think gratitude and thankfulness is a posture, right? It's a way of being. It's not just, you did this for me, thank you very much. You know what I mean? Like it's a posture, and I think that men don't really do it as often. Not saying they don't, period, but as often as women. Tell me your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I believe that sometimes gratitude, it can be a learned behavior. I think it has to be something sometimes that men have to be exposed to. I'm in my 40s, I'm an 80s baby. So, growing up, my generation, because I was just talking about it with my wife and children not that long ago, we didn't really do a lot of talking growing up,
right.
As a little boy, there really wasn't a lot of crying, it was kind of toughen up, man up, things of that nature, right? You hurt
Yeah.
yourself, throw some dirt on it, get back up, keep it moving. But I told my children, because I have 4 sons at home that they're soon to be 4, 6, 8, and 13.
Oh, wow.
And I told them, I was like, we really do our sons a disservice when we lock them out of their emotions, because they eventually grow up to be men, and men end up
Hmm.
turning into husbands. And the number one thing usually that a wife wants from her husband is what?
Emotional
Communication,
support.
and
Oh,
emotional
emotional
support
support.
and
Yes.
communication.
Yeah.
But turning from a boy who didn't talk and didn't communicate emotions into a man who now has that expectation on his shoulders, it's a challenge, for many men. So I think that sometimes gratitude, gratefulness, things of that nature, men have to be exposed to it. I believe that men have a heart, that desires to be grateful, but sometimes it really is about exposure.
So, how much weight does gratitude place on the mindset of a man?
Oh man, for me, it's everything. You know, I believe that, first of all, as I said earlier, I believe that men have been called to lead, to protect, and to
Hmm.
provide. That's just me, and when you look at, you and I sound like we're both believers, in Jesus
Absolutely.
Christ, right? So when you think of how the world started, right, there was Adam,
Hmm.
right? God placed Adam into the Garden of Eden, and the first responsibility for Adam was to work, right?
Yeah.
So that means that work actually came before a woman did. So Adam was required to work the garden. And then God said, you know what? It's not fitting for him to be
To be
alone.
alone. Yeah.
Woman was created.
Hmm.
Um, so men have a desire innately to lead. And I
Right.
believe that, if a man steps up into his leadership role the way that he should, that all leaders, all men should really start their day with gratitude,
Yeah.
honestly. Because what it does, Tammy, is it sets the pace, it sets the expectation, it sets the tone for
Yeah.
the rest of the day. And I'm huge into personal development myself.
Hmm.
I've been in that space, working on myself since 2006 ish. And I've just seen wonders in my life, in my
Yeah.
mindset, and my associations because of gratefulness. I
Yeah.
literally write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then, I'll fill that in with everything that I'm thankful for. And it does something to your spirit.
Yeah.
It changes things. Even if you're angry and you write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that,
Yeah.
it goes away.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in what we call a gratitude journal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm a therapist, so I am
Okay.
a therapist by trade, degree, and licensure, all of those things, right? And so when I provide services to my clients, I number one thing when it doesn't matter why they come in to see me. I don't care what you coming to see me for. You must do journaling when
Mm,
working with me. And
mm,
gratitude journaling is a must. And a lot of times they wonder why in the beginning. But by the time we're in the middle of like sessions and things like that, they're coming back and forth. They understand that it changes their whole mindset because they no longer are looking at the why something is happening to me.
yeah.
They're like, I'm just
Yeah.
grateful that this
Yeah.
didn't happen, or I'm
Yeah.
grateful that
Yeah.
this did happen, and it doesn't leave you with that negative ugh in your mouth. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like you now,
absolutely.
the perception. That's why I say that gratitude changes your mindset because you look at things from a different perspective. I
It
don't
does.
have to look at stuff that happens to me and say, why me?
Mm, mm. I'm so glad that you said that, because one of my mentors, he's famous for saying, if it's the same sentence, but if you just switch one word, right, it changes the entire outlook.
Hmm.
And usually when something happens, folks, they want to take on the victim mode. So they'll say, why is this happening to me?
Right.
Right. And he says, if you take that same sentence and if you swap out that to with the word for,
Yep.
it does a world of difference.
Yeah.
Why, God, is this happening for
For
me?
me. Yep.
That means, what is it, God, that you have in this situation for me that I'm supposed to learn, that I'm supposed to glean from, that I'm supposed to, whatever it is. Like, why is this happening for me? And what that does is that takes us out of the victim seat And
Yeah.
that places us into a position of power, because
Right.
if you believe in Romans 8:28, it says that, all things are always working together for our good
For you
anyway.
good. Right.
Anyway, right?
Exactly. That's
So,
exactly where I was going. When
yeah,
you made that statement, I said, oh yeah, because he works things out for your good. And
absolutely.
my uncle's a preacher, and that scripture he is always like really honed in on, but I always love the way he transcribed it to say God is at work for my
Mm,
good,
all
right?
the time.
So if he's at work for me, I should not be asking why is this
Yeah.
happening to me, because
Mm,
he already has something in the works,
wow.
like
Yeah.
he's already doing something about it.
I like that. I like that.
So it's like the gratitude side of it is just like, okay, how about let's be thankful he chose you,
Mm.
because in everything that he does for you, and he in his choosing of you, which means that he trusts you with whatever he has going on. It doesn't matter how dark it looks.
Mm.
I'm a firm believer that our life is not our own, right? So whatever we
Absolutely.
got going on in it, around it, through it, it's not for us, it's for someone else. So even when it's a dark moment,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're going to run into the person that your dark moment was meant to save, that was meant to provide a word of encouragement to, because you went through it and they
Mm.
needed somebody that looked like them, that have the things that they want or things that they desire, and they like, oh, I never forget when my mom passed. I had a friend, and her mom passed maybe 2 years later.
Mm.
And everything that I went through, I was like, oh, I went through this for you. Like, I was just like devastated.
Yeah.
You would say, like, how could you look at someone's death and say it was a positive outcome or that it was a positive thing? And it was like, because it's not about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think that if we ever take the time to just be grateful that stuff is not about us, like that's something to be grateful for in itself.
In
Like
itself. Absolutely.
it's not about me. I may be a bicarrier, but it's
Yeah.
not about me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I may get some benefit from it, but it's not about me. It's about somebody else, which to me allows gratitude to again shift the mindset. You always wonder, like, how does it do it? It does it because your perception is changed, it's different.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. What I love about gratitude is that, it kind of enhances positive emotions, it amplifies, the feelings of joy that we have, love, and just
Hmm.
overall life satisfaction.
Hmm.
And when we do really, keep top of mind that everything that happens, first of all, is for a reason. And secondly, like you said, it's not for us. It really helps us to be aware that, what, in every single thing, I can learn something, because either it's going to be for me or it's going to be for somebody that's going to be coming my way and they're going to need that, So every situation,
Yeah.
every circumstance, there's always an opportunity in there for us to pass on something, to someone else.
Yes, absolutely. And so I do a lot of self love,
Hmm.
and self improvement and things like that. But self love is the foundation for
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah.
when I'm coaching people, it's like you must love yourself in complete capacity, not, oh, I love myself over here in this area, but I don't really love myself over there. No, you have to love yourself in totality, right?
Yeah.
And so in loving yourself, you know that you've reached the epitome of self love when you're grateful for everything in your life. Like that's when you know. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it don't matter what it is.
Yeah.
You have to be grateful to say, you know what? I'm grateful that I'm kind of like, I didn't really like going through X,
Hmm.
Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But I am kind of grateful it happened, because what did it do? It gave me new insight. It gave me,
Hmm.
oh, don't do that anymore.
Absolutely.
like that alone sometimes it's like, wait, don't do that no more. No, don't do that anymore. Like make a better choice.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
it allows you to see things. It's really an eye opener. Like if I was to like say, what does gratitude really do for you? It's like it's a mindset shift, but it's an eye
Amen.
opener.
Yeah.
What do I
Absolutely.
see when you think about like how your mind functions and works? And it's like your mind is how you think.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
I'm forever grateful for everything, that I don't have space
Yeah.
for
Anything else?
negative talk. I don't have
Absolutely.
space.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I'm grateful all day because it's a posture. As I was
Hmm.
saying earlier, it's a posture. Like, so I don't have the mindset space to be like,
Hmm.
I can't do this. This ain't like I'm this, I'm that. I'm having imposter syndrome. I'm
Yeah. I don't have the space for it. One of my favorite scriptures is Proverbs 23:7, and that says, as a man think of in his heart, what? So is he. So, when you think about
favorite.
that, man, it really says that thoughts and feelings ultimately,
They work
are what
together.
we become. They work together.
Hmm.
So whatever you're thinking about and whatever you're feeling, that's what you're going to attract. That's what you are going to become. And Oprah has this quote that, that the more that you thank God, the more that God gives you to be thankful for.
Before.
And
Hmm.
and and if you really just think about that, I mean, you focus on all of the good, all of the great, all of
Yep,
all of the positive.
absolutely.
What does that do? All that does is just comes your way. But
Yep,
the God that we serve, it doesn't just come our way in little itty bitty bits. It comes our way in abundance.
yeah.
Because how many times have you,
Overflow.
have you planted a seed and you got one seed back?
No.
You plant a seed, you get a
And you get a
whole
whole
tree,
tree.
and the tree is dropping fruit that's going to have more
Yeah,
seeds in it.
yeah,
So imagine just having a heart, a posture, a mind, feelings all day long about gratitude. There's
yeah,
going to be so much that's flooding your way. Like you said, negativity, it's kind of like sickness. Sickness can't live in a body that's alkaline.
yep.
Negativity can't live in the mindset of somebody that's
That's
always
crap.
grateful.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have a lot of my favorite quotes going
Yeah,
on
man.
over there. Like, because I say that all the time. As a man thinketh, so is he. Like,
Absolutely.
it is a mantra and it is a way of living,
It
right?
is.
I I'm real big on having mottos and slogans and
Yeah.
just things like what is the theme of your life? And I think having a gratitude theme is
Hmm.
like one of the best things you can ever do for yourself. And it's like, what
Yeah.
does that mean?
Yeah.
What does having a gratitude theme for my life really look like? That means I'm thankful
Yeah.
for everything. That means that when stuff happens, I'm still thankful. It means that when it's
Uh-huh.
amazing, I'm still thankful. It means when people walk away, when I lose stuff, when things are not going the way that I desire, I'm still thankful. Like, because
Absolutely.
that's the posture
Yeah.
and theme of my life. You cannot be lukewarm.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like you in or you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
think gratitude allows you to be all in when you learn how to posture yourself
Yeah.
with that position. You know what I mean? Like, as a whole.
Agreed.
My
Agreed.
mother used to say when I was little, what's down in the well comes out the bucket.
There's so many different ways you could say that. Well, if it don't come out in the wash, it's gonna come out in the rinse. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard those kind of sayings before.
And it always meant to me what's in your heart comes out your mouth.
That's biblical anyway. Out of the abundance of the heart, what the
The
mouth
mouth
speaks.
speaks.
That's
So,
biblical.
all
Absolutely.
day.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think about that when I think about, we're talking about the mindset shift of gratitude, but it's a heart shift too.
It is. It is. It is.
It's a
Yeah.
heart shift. And I think it starts in the heart. I think that if you're saying to yourself, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or add to it, because I think we've been on the same page quite a bit. But I think that when you change your heart, is when your mind starts to change, right?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't think you can do one without the other. When I do a lot of, self love coaching and manifestation and how you can make your life better and improvement, I start with the belief, which is in the heart. Because if
Mm-hmm.
I can
Mm-hmm.
give you
Mm-hmm.
15,000 affirmations, say, get all these 500 affirmations of
Yeah.
gratitude all doggone day, and you can say it, say it, say it, say it, and your life's still gonna look a mess because you don't believe it.
I don't believe. That's one of the questions that I ask men all of the time. What do you believe to be true? You know, and what I love, so man, this is rich conversation. So the word heart, right? If you really
Yes.
look at the way that is spelled, it's Hear, right?
Hmm.
And then there's a T. And you know, in order for something to get into the heart, right? First of all, what has to happen first? We have to Hear. We
Hmm.
have to hear it
Yeah.
over and over and over and over and over again, right? That's how it turns into a belief. And that T in heart stands for time. So
Hmm.
it literally takes time after time for us to hear and hear and hear, for something to sink into the heart. And that's where it turns into a belief. And then that's where the belief comes out, you know, whether it's something that we believe in that we should, or
Yeah.
whether it's something that we believe in that we shouldn't, you
Right.
know. But yeah, it's in the heart, but it takes time to hear these things over and over and over again. That's why I tell men, especially my sons, you know, my oldest two sons right now, 13 and 8, it's really important what you see,
Yeah.
what you're
Yeah.
watching, and what
And
you're
what you
listening
hear, your
to.
ear gate. Hmm.
Absolutely. Because those are the easiest ways, and those are the fastest ways that things penetrate the body and break
Yep.
itself into your mind and heart.
And
You
shift things really quickly.
absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's why I like the affirmations. Everybody say, you say these affirmations, but the
Yeah.
other part of that is this. When the Bible says, "Study thyself and show ourselves approved,"
So,
right? So
mm-hmm.
all of that means that you're reading, 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 that you're speaking, 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 so that when things happen, you know how to pull, right? And
Yeah.
just go, go, go. So I always tell people when we're doing coaching sessions or just in general, I can meet you in public and have a general conversation. And I'll ask, what does your mouth say, right? Like, what are you talking about all the
Mm,
time? Whatever
mm-hmm.
you're talking about all the time, that's what's sitting in the heart of you
Mm.
because you speak what you believe.
You do.
If you talk to someone about finances and they're hollering or speaking negativity or I'm broke, I don't have no money, I can't do that, I don't my everything ain't lining up, blah blah blah. You'll never hear me say I'm broke because it doesn't exist.
Mm,
I'll never believe it.
mm,
You have I don't care what you can show me an account that has $0 in it and it does not mean that I'm broke, right? Because those are words that mean more than what you think it means, right?
absolutely.
So what you speak in the atmosphere is what comes to pass. I tell people all the time, if you sit down and even just decide that you wanted to do an inventory your life and inventory your words and
Mm,
see if they don't agree.
that's heavy.
Hmm.
That's heavy. I like that. I like that.
Wow, today's episode is a good one. I know you're enjoying it, and we'll get back to it shortly. Just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that Tammy would love for you to share any questions, comments, or topic ideas you have with her. All you have to do is send them to her in an email to podcast@IamTammyNicole.com. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get back into today's show.
And 9 times out of 10 they agree. They agree because they align
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
can't change that, right? You
Yeah.
can't, like that's just it is what it is. And
Yeah.
as much as you would want to say no, that ain't true, it's been tested one too many times. But I just think anybody listening, just try it. Literally try sitting down and writing out, where is my life today? And then
Mm,
think about the things that you used to say. Some of it you probably still saying, but
yeah.
just think about what you have said in
Yeah.
reference to where you are today.
That's
And I
fantastic. Yeah.
guarantee you're
Absolutely.
going to find a moment or several moments where
Yeah.
you like, yep, I did. I said that. I sure
Yep.
did.
I
And when you
envision the
said
life
it,
that I live right now. You are
yeah.
absolutely right. My wife, you know, the single family home. I even envisioned the BMW one day. You know, lo and behold, I earned a free BMW. You know, from one of my work from home businesses. It was a black BMW that I had on my vision board, Coach Tammy.
Hmm.
And I never knew how I was going to get a BMW, but I knew I always wanted one.
Right.
And my wife and I, you know, partnered in a home based business, and we went to work. And what happened? You know, we were rewarded with a BMW.
Yeah.
And I went out, and I didn't even remember at the time my vision board, but I picked a black one. because I always wanted one. And then one
Yeah.
day, the Lord dropped onto my spirit that, one of your old vision boards had this particular car. So we really, I mean, it's crazy because thoughts do become things,
Yeah.
words do become things. And that's
They
why we
do.
have to, that's why the Bible is very clear. We have to take captive every
Every
thought
thought.
and
Yeah.
bring it under the subjection and the
Subjection of the
submission
Spirit.
of the Lord, man. We
Yeah.
have to. But we live in the world right now, Coach Tammy, where you and I know, guess what? Everything is a distraction.
Oh,
social
absolutely.
media, social media, entertainment, politics.
Yeah.
I mean, the enemy is so busy getting everybody so distracted, so busy, so
Yep.
tired that they don't have time to be grateful.
Yeah.
And that's a large part of the problem that we have in our society as a whole.
Yeah. That and the greed and the covetousness that, I want what you have
Yeah,
versus,
yeah,
wanting
yeah,
what's designed for them.
yeah.
Um, Again, but if they start just being grateful for where they are and who they are and what they
Mm,
desire for real on the inside, when I
mm,
do self love, we always come up with things that we are people pleasers, right?
mm.
And when you're a people pleaser, self love doesn't exist. And people say, well, why do you say that? I said, because you're so busy trying to do what you think other people want you to do. So
Yeah.
you cannot do for you focused on them, right? And so a lot of times, because we grow up learning how to be a people pleaser, we learn that, oh, Reginald, you want me to do what? Oh, you think that I should do this for this business? Oh, because you think that that's the way to go. And oh, okay, so now I'm doing what Reginald wants me to do, right? But God could have gave you everything you needed if you had just stayed focused on the inner, like what came, like he gives you the desires of your heart. It's the desires that he plants within you. So if you just took the time to nurture that, believe in that, and do the assignment according to you and him,
Mm.
you wouldn't be out here people pleasing.
Yeah, yeah,
You would be satisfied with what you have
yeah.
because what's for you is for you. I can't want what you have.
Well, I
Like,
can want it, but I don't mean I deserve it.
I mean, like, but why do I want it? You know what I mean? Like, why do I want
What
what
you
you
have.
have?
Exactly.
Now, can I desire something that is the same because it's simply my desire because they make, 20 million BMWs that are black?
Yeah.
Yes, I can, but I should not desire it simply because you have it. That looks good. Ooh, that looks good. Oh, I think I want one of them now. But last
Mm.
week you wanted the G Wagon. You know what I mean? Like
I get it.
it's
Yeah.
like you're switching it up because it's not you. Right. And so it's like find out who you are
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what you really desire. Your life would be so much more fruitful. It would be
Yeah.
so much more fulfilling. And that gratitude spirit, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody would have to wonder, are you grateful for that? Are you grateful for it? You are.
Absolutely. I think another one of the positives about gratitude is that, it kind of boosts self esteem. And what I mean by that, is that it reduces social comparisons, so when you are, like you said, thankful for what you have, you don't have to compare yourself to your neighbor, and when we stop the social comparisons, what that does by default is that
Yeah.
that automatically increases our self-esteem. you
Yeah.
know we we live in America, right? So everybody got to get the house with the picket fence, right? And then
Right.
your neighbor goes out and get a pool. So what you feel like now, you feel like you got
You
to get a
want to get a
pool.
pool, right?
Your neighbor put up the white picket fence. Now you feel like you got to, and I'm just so thankful for the wife that I have, man, because we really, we live a life within our means. Do we have a desire for a bigger home? Obviously we do. Do we have a desire for, the luxury automobiles? Of course, but
Yes.
those things will come when they come, and we subscribe to a life where, we appreciate God for what he's done, and we thank him for where we are until, it's time to move on to what's next. But I love the fact that we don't compare.
And you shouldn't. Like, what's the point in it,
Yeah.
right? Like, what do you get from it,
Jealousy and envy.
right?
and, a,
Things that
and
you
a
don't
whole bunch of
really want.
heartache and stress.
There you go, right there. There you go. Stuff that you don't really want.
Exactly.
Stuff that you don't really want. So I just think, as a whole, if you were to like tell the people, like, it's like, you know what, all the people that are listening, we already emphasize how important gratitude is and how it would change your mindset. If someone walked up and was like, but how do I do it? How do I get there? That sounds good. That sounds amazing and free. Because that's another thing it gives you, freedom. Whew, that's a whole nother subject. And that's a whole nother subject. Like, just to be free, to be like your authentic self. Gratitude gives you that.
Yeah,
what would be your steps or tips to the person that says, how do I get there? How do I do that?
Such a fantastic question. You definitely not a cookie cutter answer either, because there's so many different ways. But if I would give three, I love what you said earlier about keeping a gratitude journal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love writing down about 5 to 10 things a day that you're grateful for. So one, I would say definitely, if you have not, sit down and actually start that, ASAP, a gratitude journal, no less than 5 to 10 things daily of what you're grateful for. Secondly, I would say, maybe start your day. So I'm talking about from the moment that you wake up. One of the first things that I try to say as soon as I wake up each and every day is thank you, Lord, for waking me up. Because guess what? He didn't have to.
Correct.
And there's somebody yesterday that had intentions on being here today and they're not, So start your day, and I love even doing this out loud, right? Start your day declaring out loud, all of the things that you're thankful for and grateful for. So gratitude journal allows you to write it down on paper, right? Because the Bible says it's very clear, right? Write the vision and make it plain, right? But I also believe in voice activation as well, right?
Yeah.
So you declare it out loud, you use your words, because what I believe is, and since the enemy is always lurking around, right? Looking to steal, kill, and destroy anyway, right? Use your words to let them know that, you know what? This is me today. I'm grateful today. I'm thankful today. And if that's what you got, you're going to have a hard time with this one today. You start your morning that way. And then I would say, just through different periods throughout the day, Coach Tammy, I would say meditate for a few minutes.
Absolutely.
And just focus on grateful thoughts. Just sit still, turn the TV off, turn the social media off, even if it's like on your way to work, on your way home from work, if it could be right after work, it could be right before work, it does not matter. But just sit still for a few moments throughout your day, even on your lunch break, right? And just focus on grateful thoughts, because we really believe Proverbs 23:7. I really believe it, that whatever we think and whatever we feel is ultimately what we become.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. And I want to thank you for those words of wisdom and tips for our listeners. And I hope that you guys actually gained something from this conversation. I think it was an amazing one. Reginald, thank you for joining us. If anybody wanted to reach out to you or connect with you, how would they do that?
Absolutely. So my main 2 social media platforms are Facebook and LinkedIn. And it's just simply my name. It's right there on the screen, Reginald Gant, Gant. It's like Grant with no R. So you definitely can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn, but you can also find me on my website as well. And I'll just say that out loud. And it's Serve, SERVE. It's the number 4, men.com. So you can look me up on my website. It's Serve, the number 4, men.com. Serve4men.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us. And I hope everyone has gained a lot of information, a lot of encouragement to basically change your mindset to have a mindset of gratitude. I know that we do a lot of self-love talk over here because we always end our show by saying this: love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
That's a wrap on another episode of Loving Me Before I Love You. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to show your support by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Stay connected with Tammy. Make sure you're following her on Instagram and TikTok at Coach Tammy Nicole. If you like to work with Tammy or have any questions you'd like her to answer, please head over to www.IamTammyNicole.com. Until next time, always remember to love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.